There are moments in life where change refuses to wait for your readiness. You feel the pressure building long before anything happens, but you try to hold the familiar shape of your world together anyway. You tell yourself you can adjust, you can endure, you can make it work a little longer. You cling to patterns that once made sense, even as they start to feel heavier with every passing day. Then suddenly, something shifts. A relationship ends without warning. A job dissolves. A truth you ignored erupts into clarity. A situation breaks in a way that forces your hand. These moments feel harsh, abrupt, and unfair. But they are not mistakes. They are transition gates, and they appear the moment your soul refuses to let you remain where you are. A transition gate is not polite. It does not knock gently. It does not schedule itself around your comfort, your plans, or your fears. It arrives when the life you built no longer aligns with the person you are becoming. You may not see the misalignment until something breaks, but once it breaks, you cannot unsee it. This is the nature of thresholds. They close the old path the second the new one calls. And that calling does not begin with opportunity. It begins with disruption. The collapse you resist is often the doorway you need. When life forces you forward, it rarely feels like guidance. It feels like loss, shock, confusion, or sudden displacement. You try to understand why the familiar had to fall apart so violently. You replay conversations, decisions, and timelines looking for a moment where you could have prevented the break. But transition gates are not about prevention. They are about propulsion. They activate when your evolution requires action you would never choose from comfort. They activate when the timeline you deserve will not open, unless the timeline you settled for is removed. They activate when you are carrying an identity that cannot step into your future. These gates tear through stagnation in ways your conscious mind would never dare. There is a moment after the disruption where you are caught between what ended and what has not yet begun. This moment feels like suspension, like someone lifted you out of your own life and placed you in an undefined space. Nothing makes sense there. Nothing feels stable. You are tempted to rebuild the old structure quickly, to restore the familiar even if it no longer fits. But transition gates are not meant to be reversed. They are crossings. The collapse did not occur to punish you. It occurred to move you to the next chapter without delay. You cannot rebuild what was never meant to last. The shock of a transition gate strips away illusions so quickly that your mind has no time to maintain the masks you once wore. You see the truth with a clarity that feels almost cruel. You see who was aligned and who was merely convenient. You see which habits were numbing your spirit. You see how small you were living. You see that the stability you clung to was actually a cage in disguise. This clarity is uncomfortable, but it is not unkind. It is the moment you finally understand that you were never meant to remain in places where you had to shrink your frequency to belong. Life does not force you forward until you have already outgrown your surroundings. The gate appears the moment you stop matching the resonance of your old reality. Sometimes this mismatch feels like restlessness. Other times it feels like emotional heaviness or quiet dissatisfaction. But when the gap widens enough, the shift arrives suddenly. The ending that hurt you was the ending that freed you. The revelation that shocked you was the revelation that aligned you. The unexpected moment was the exact moment your future timeline claimed you. You will notice that transition gates often come in clusters. One thing shifts, then another, then a third, and suddenly, your entire foundation feels different. This is not chaos. This is synchronization. When your life reorganizes itself rapidly, it means your next chapter requires a clean break from your previous identity. It means you are stepping into a space where old patterns cannot follow. It means the universe is not taking from you. It is removing what blocks the path you are meant to walk. There is a misconception that growth always feels empowering. In reality, growth often feels like being pushed into cold water without warning. Your breath catches, your instincts react. Your mind searches for something to hold on to, but the old grip points are gone. This discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is the sensation of entering a new frequency before you understand how to navigate it. Change feels violent when you resist it. But transition gates do not require your approval. They require your presence. When life forces you forward, you discover parts of yourself you never accessed while things were predictable. A deeper strength rises. A clearer voice emerges. A quiet intelligence begins to guide you. Decisions you avoided for years become obvious. Boundaries you lacked become natural. The moment you stop fighting the gate, your entire being shifts toward alignment. What once felt like loss begins to feel like release. What once felt like confusion becomes direction. What once felt like disruption becomes initiation. Many people mistake transition gates for punishment because they collide with the ego instead of soothing it. But the soul has no interest in maintaining a life that restricts its expansion. If a path is too small for you, it will collapse. If a relationship cannot sustain your truth, it will fracture. If a pattern cycles you away from your becoming, it will be interrupted. This is not the universe working against you. It is the universe protecting the version of you that you are growing into. The deepest part of you knows when a chapter is complete long before the ending arrives. You feel the internal shift even when you deny it. You feel the desire for change, even when you fear its consequences. You feel the tension between who you are and who you are pretending to be. When the gap between these two selves becomes too wide, life intervenes. The gate opens, and the cost of staying becomes greater than the cost of leaving. Transition gates do not ask you to be fearless. They ask you to be honest. Honest about what no longer nourishes you. Honest about the dreams you abandoned. Honest about the identity you outgrew. Honest about the path you know you are meant to take. Honesty is the key that opens the next timeline. Once you speak that truth within yourself, the gate widens. You step through without realizing you already crossed the threshold the moment you stopped lying to your future. Every forced shift is a summons. Every ending is a directive. Every abrupt change is a sign that your next stage has already begun. The gate is not here to break you. It is here to deliver you. You step forward not because you were ready, but because you were needed. The life you are walking into will make sense later. For now, the only thing required is movement. There comes a point in every transition where the shock begins to fade and something deeper takes its place. It is not clarity at first. It is not confidence. It is a quieter awareness that the part of you that resisted the shift is losing its hold, and the part of you that needed the shift is rising. You may still feel uncertain, but the fear has softened. You may not know what comes next, but the urgency to return to what ended is gone. This is the moment when the transition gate stops feeling like a rupture and starts feeling like a corridor. You begin to sense that you are moving, even when nothing external has changed. Movement is not measured by action. It is measured by internal alignment. The gate has opened, and your entire being has started walking. You notice your attention changing. Old attachments lose their emotional weight. Old habits no longer soothe you. Old identities feel distant, like something you recall rather than something you inhabit. You are not fully transformed, but you are no longer anchored to the person who lived in the life that collapsed. This in-between state can feel strange. You may feel detached from your past, yet unsure of your future. But detachment is not emptiness. It is preparation. When a transition gate moves you forward, it clears space inside you so the next version of yourself has room to form. Many people misunderstand these quiet phases. They think nothing is happening. They think they are stuck, floating, or regressing. But stillness after a breaking point is not stagnation. It is integration. It is the moment your consciousness rearranges itself around a new truth. It is the slow unbinding of the old patterns that held you in place. You are relearning who you are without the roles, relationships, or structures that once defined your identity. This is not a pause. It is a reassembly. You begin to sense impulses that feel different from your old instincts. You feel pulled toward new environments, new connections, new ideas. You sense a shift in your values, your priorities, your direction. These impulses are subtle but unmistakable. They are not reactions to fear or habit. They are signals from the version of you waiting on the other side of the transition. This version speaks in hints, intuition, and moments of resonance. It does not shout or demand. It guides. And the more you surrender to the gate, the louder that guidance becomes. There is a particular moment in every transition where the question changes. Instead of asking why something ended, you start asking what the ending revealed. Instead of asking why the disruption happened, You start asking who you are without what it removed. These questions mark the emergence of your new identity. They arise not from pain, but from curiosity. You begin to explore the territory ahead rather than analyze the territory behind. This shift in focus signals that you are no longer resisting the pull of your next timeline. You are standing in it. Transition gates do not deliver instant answers. They reveal the next step only when you reach the edge of the present one. You are not meant to see the entire road. You are meant to trust the momentum that carried you through the rupture. The new path aligns itself through honesty, awareness, and willingness. When you honor what fell away instead of trying to resurrect it, the path sharpens. When you act on what resonates instead of what is familiar, the path strengthens. When you release the need to control the outcome, the path stabilizes. This is the invisible architecture of destiny. It builds itself through alignment, not force. As you move deeper into the transition, you start to realize that the gate did not appear at the wrong time. It appeared at the only moment where staying would have cost you more than leaving. The timing may have felt abrupt, but the need for change was not sudden. You had been feeling the mismatch long before the disruption. You had been holding on to something that no longer matched your inner frequency. The gate simply arrived to resolve the tension your spirit could no longer carry. This understanding brings peace. You stop romanticizing what ended. You stop idealizing what collapsed. You stop believing the story that the timing was cruel. You start seeing that the timing was precise. With this understanding comes a new form of strength. Not the strength you used to survive the old chapter, but the strength you need to build the new one. You become more discerning. You become more intentional. You become more attuned to your own internal signals. You begin to see how much of your past was shaped by obligation, and how much of your future will be shaped by choice. This shift in agency is part of the transformation. When life forces you forward, it also forces you to recognize your own power. The more you step into this power, the more you notice that the world responds differently to you. Opportunities that once required struggle begin to appear without resistance. People who align with your new frequency cross your path effortlessly. Ideas that once felt distant become accessible. This is not luck. This is coherence. When you match the resonance of your next timeline, the timeline meets you halfway. This is why the gate removed what it removed. You could not receive the life ahead while holding on to the life behind. There is a moment where everything clicks. The shock dissolves. The confusion clears. The heaviness lifts. The narrative that once caused pain now brings understanding. You see how each loss created space, how each ending realigned your direction, how each disruption closed a chapter that was quietly draining your energy. You realize that the gate was not chaos. It was precision. It was a correction, a redirection, a recalibration. You were not abandoned. You were escorted. From this clarity, a new identity emerges. It does not resemble the version of you who resisted the change. It does not resemble the version of you who feared the ending. It resembles the version of you who stepped through the gate and did not turn back. This identity is built from truth instead of fear, alignment instead of habit, intuition instead of performance. It is the version of you that life was trying to reach all along. The transition completes itself when you stop searching for who you were and begin inhabiting who you are. You do not need closure to move forward. You do not need validation to trust your path. You do not need guarantees to walk into the unknown. You only need to accept that the gate did not open by accident. It opened because the next stage of your life was ready, and you were not meant to miss it. This is the nature of transition gates. They move you into alignment through events you would never choose but will one day be grateful for. They protect the future you cannot yet see. They remove the attachments that would have limited your expansion. They escort you across thresholds you would not cross on your own. They are not interruptions. They are initiations. They are not endings. They are awakenings. And once you pass through them, your life becomes something it could never have become if you had remained where you were. You are not the same person who entered the gate. You are not meant to be. You stepped into a moment that demanded your evolution, and you rose to meet it. Even if your mind doubted it, your soul already knew. The only way forward was through. And now that you have crossed, the path ahead will unfold in ways that reveal why the gate had to appear exactly when it did. You were moved because you were ready, even if you did not feel ready, and the life waiting for you beyond this point will prove it.